Hi, my name is Hilda, and this is my Druid life. In the last few videos I've been talking about Druidry this and Druids that, and you must be wondering, what's a Druid anyway? The letter D seems like a good place to talk about that. One thing Druids do is look at evidence from the past and see how our ancestors did things and find inspiration from them. So let's begin with some history. The most famous description of Druids is probably the one given by Julius Caesar. He describes Druids basically as savages, and one of the dog whistles that he's talking about savages is that he mentions human sacrifice, which is something the Romans would really have blanched at. When you look at how Celtic peoples and Celtic literature describes Druids, you get a whole different picture. You often see them as judges and advisors to kings, and often they are priests and magicians who can make wondrous things happen. They are the wisdom keepers and the memory keepers of their tribe, and they are also peacemakers. When two armies would go out and stand opposite each other, ready to fight a battle, their Druids would come out and talk to each other and come to some kind of arrangement that would keep the peace between the tribes. That kind of description is a great source of inspiration for people who call themselves Druids nowadays. As people of the 17th and 18th century looked towards the past for their own sense of identity and who they really were, they found a lot of inspiration in Druids as well. They got together in fraternities that they called Druid orders, where they read poetry to each other and discussed cultural things, but they were also like mutual societies where people got together and looked after each other when there was a funeral to pay for or when somebody had fallen on hard times. In Wales, the cultural side of things was much more important, and they founded the nationalised Steddfod, which is still going strong. People who call themselves Druids now are quite an eclectic bunch. There is so much variety in ideas and beliefs and practices. There is no dogma that everybody has to subscribe to and believe and follow. People find their own way in a framework of ideas that most of us would agree on and hold in common. One of those is a belief in the fundamental unity of all things. A wise Druid once told me, there is only one everything. There is only one great reality that stretches from the far past into the future and from the depths of our souls into the universe among the stars. And in that one everything, nothing is ever lost. And we are fundamentally at home in it. And if we are at one with everything, then we are also at one with each other and with the earth that gives us life. This is why Druidry is a nature spirituality that sees nature, or the whole of everything, as something on the level of deity that we revere and where we find inspiration for living. Another important aspect of Druidry is community. We get together in orders and groves and lay on camps where we come together to celebrate the festivals. Though not every Druid is part of a group, many of us have found enduring friendships in the community of Druids. And when we have found our roots and our grounding in the everything, in our nature spirituality and in our communities, we can find the inspiration and the strength and the support we need to develop our creativity, which Druids do in many amazing and wonderful ways. I can't think of a Druid who hasn't blossomed in their creativity in some way, not necessarily artistically or in some form of craft, but many of us apply our creativity into some form of being of service. I remember one Druid friend of mine who, when he lived in London, was instrumental in starting a community garden in his neighbourhood. And I am not the only Druid who's also a member of the Green Party. So why do I call myself a Druid? I don't need that label. My spiritual beliefs and practices are my own. But I do happen to have found a home in the community of Druids. I'm a member of the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids. Many of my practices are based on the teachings and the traditions of that order. I regularly chant my Owens and I start my rituals by calling peace to the quarters. But the most fundamental thing to me is that belief that my greater identity is the living community of this earth and the community of the everything that is the universe. So what do you think a Druid is? Do you agree with my description? Or is there something fundamental I left out? Would you identify yourself as a Druid? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed watching this video, please press like and subscribe if you want to see more letters of the Druid Alphabet Superset. There are breaks built into the Alphabet Superset project, one before each vowel. So I'll be taking a break next week and I'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Thanks for watching and I'll see you soon.